All right, hello and welcome back to windy, snowy Colorado. We're staying warm inside the garage today. My name is Shauna. This is our Fit Essentials Basics class. If you're choosing to wear the blood flow bands, we've already added air, so if you're on the recording, go ahead and pause and do that now. Otherwise, join me up to standing. All right, as you come to standing, we're going to start with our spinal cord breathing. So set your feet about hip width apart, draw that stomach in. Just establish a nice little bend into those knees. And then as you breathe in, we're going to circle the hands and arms around. Bring your palms, elbows, and forearms together. And then tuck yourself into a little ball as you breathe out. Chin down to the chest, looking down. When you're ready to breathe in, open through those hips. Maintain that soft bend in the knee. And now we're circling the arms back and down. Lifting the head. Squeeze the glute to protect that low back. Excellent. Twice more. Breathing out. Chin tucks in, head bows down, always drawing the belly in towards the spine. Nice deep cleansing breath, circling the arms open. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. And then one more time, breathing out. Tuck yourself into a little ball. Breathing in, back to standing, and then we'll rest there. Good job. Walk those feet back in. Go ahead and bring your hands up to the hips. And just a little hip circle here. 3 to 5 times one direction, loosen up those hips and low back, and then when you're ready, circle them the other way. Excellent. All right, we're gonna kind of get ourselves moving here into our first series. It's gonna serve as a bit of a warm-up for us, starting with our step jacks. So draw that stomach in, and then when you're ready, we're gonna look to reach the arms up to overhead. Try to touch your index fingers together in front of the body, like right in front of the belly button and hips. And then if you can circle up to overhead. Excellent. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice smooth side steps here. Keeping the hips nice and level. And we're just holding that little quarter squat as we move. We're going to warm up some squatting next. I'm going to start with a sit stand, meaning I'm going to sit into my chair and then stand up from there. So when you're ready, you're going to walk the feet a little bit wider. I'm going to come to the edge of that chair, make sure it's back behind me. And then I'm going to reach my arms out, push my knees wide, lower my hips down, just a light tap onto the chair, and then pull myself tall, reaching out, pulling in. Breathe in as you lower, breathe out as you stand. Try to wake up those glutes. So squeeze the backside, squeeze your tush as you stand up. Excellent. Good, Diane. Arms reach out, knees push wide, couple more. And 2, 1, and rest. All righty. We're going to be going into an elevated mountain climber next. But first, I want you to do a little wrist circle with me. Circling those wrists around. Very good. And then change directions, circle the wrists the other way. Wonderful. So you can use a tabletop, a countertop, maybe the back of the couch. I've got a little bit lower surface. I'm going to use the seat of my chair. Ensure you're not going to knock anything over if you hold on here. I'm going to place one hand underneath each shoulder, walking the feet back. And now 2 options. You can hold this plank position, or if you want the more challenging option, you're going to work that mountain climber, which simply means you're going to breathe out as you draw the knee towards the same side elbow. Really key here not to have movement through your hips and spine. So my belly is drawn in. Once I know my movement, I want my neck to be neutral as well. So I'm going to turn my head, look right between your hands. Breathing out, knee draws up, breathing in as you set that foot down. Good, and be one more on each side. And come on back up. Walking back up to the feet, come on up to standing. And then we're going to finish out this circuit with a little march and punch. So toes pointing forward, shoulders draw back. And then when you're ready, lift up onto one hip, breathing out as you punch and raise that opposite knee. So this is one that can be a little bit more challenging than it may initially appear. Hands high. Try to really push that big toe down as you draw the belly up and in. So this is like balance work in disguise here. Or maybe not so disguised, depending on how you feel. But be patient and gracious with yourself whenever you're working that balance work. Good. One more time. And rest. Awesome job. 2-minute break here. If you have a water glass nearby, feel free to grab a drink. One thing I forgot to mention, we are going to get ready for some step ups in our next circuit. So if you don't have a step stool around, just think about going to grab that when we take a pause here. Otherwise, we're going to start round 2 here in about 10 seconds. Alrighty, back to our step jacks. And here we go. Circling the hands, index fingers click in front of the body and up to overhead, keeping those shoulders moving. Good. Maybe just a nice soft smile. Try to build that positive reinforcement, work on that positive psychology. Your brain doesn't know what you're smiling about, just knows like, okay, this is a positive thing here. Sometimes we have used exercise as punishment in our younger years, or maybe not so much younger years. So we want to celebrate as we move our body. All right, very nice. Set that down. If you want to use a light weight as we come back to that squat, I'm going to pick up a nice light weight and I'm going to be raising it up in front as I squat down. When you get ready to squat, I'm going to use the chair still, just a slight toe out. Draw that stomach in. And then when you're ready, eyes up, looking straight ahead. And I'd like you to keep your full foot in contact with the floor. So I want to feel my heels sitting back and down, maintaining contact, and that big toe pushes down. Belly draws in as arms reach out. Good, Diane, eyes up now, looking forward. That's better. If you don't feel comfortable raising that weight in front of the body, Diane's doing what we call our goblet squat, holding it right underneath the chin. That's a little bit too much on the shoulders to raise it up in front. Almost there. And rest. If you were using a weight, set it down. Take a nice deep breath, and then we're going to get ready for the mountain climbers coming up next. So stomach draws in. Go ahead and place one hand underneath each shoulder, walking the feet back. So you can hold this plank here if anything doesn't feel strong for that mountain climber. Otherwise, when you're ready, draw the knee as you draw the foot and toes up as well. So have a nice active and engaged ankle. Good. Avoid holding your breath and try to lift up through that mid-back. Try to avoid sinking into those shoulders. Try to stay as level as you can through the midline and the hips. I don't want to see those hips flailing side to side. Nice locked out arms, nice and straight, nice and strong, and coming back up to standing. Wonderful. Shake out those arms, march and punch to finish this second round. When you're ready, here we go. You don't have to have a high march here. We're kind of practicing a little bit of that cross crawl pattern, meaning the upper body is crossing the midline. Whew, lost my balance a little bit there. Easy to take it for granted. Exhaling with that punch. Wonderful. 15 seconds. There you go. Straighten that elbow out. Maybe one more on each side. Smile with that punch and pause. Beautiful. We're going to take 30 seconds and we'll be back for the final round. On this last round for the squats, this is going to be the end of our squatting practice for today. We're going to work on the depth of the squat. So if you're not really good at getting deep, you can use a countertop. I'm going to use the back of my chair this time. But don't forget, we've got our step jacks to start. Getting ready to begin. Toes forward. Draw everything up and in, and then we got our index fingers are going to circle around. Click in front, click to overhead. Excellent. Get that movement and that blood flow through the upper body. Super. So you're not going to hit your arms on anything. Keep it nice and steady here. If you are someone that feels confident to move faster, that's always an option, but consistency would be our #1 goal. And take a pause from there. Good work. We're getting ready for the squats. If you're good at getting your hips below parallel and you want to still hold weight, you're welcome to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to be showing you how you can use this chair or even a door frame to help get a little bit deeper. So feet about hip width apart. Eyes up when you're ready. Chest tall, eyes looking forward, pushing your knees wide as you grip those toes down. Excellent. Holding strong through that belly. And then if you need to, use the arms. Help pull yourself up. But I want you to focus on the legs. I'm trying to drive straight down into the floor to wake up those muscles and to bring my body back up to standing. Excellent work. Good job. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out as you stand tall. We're going to practice this another 10 seconds. Keeping those hips moving, keeping those knees working, ankles mobile. Good. Final time. And take that rest. Awesome job. Short break. And then our final bit of mountain climbers. Wide handprint. Midline in, nice and neutral. Place one hand down and then the other. Walk the feet back. And here we go. Hips level to the shoulders. Turn that gaze forward. If it feels like it's a lot of pressure on your wrist, see if you can spread your palms, spread those fingers out nice and wide. You have those arches in your hand, just like we have arches in our feet. And when we engage the arches of that hand, it takes some of the load off your wrist. You want to use the muscles and save your joints. Good, keep that breathing going. And everybody rest. Good job. Coming back up to standing. Feel free to give a little side-to-side rotation before we go into our final march and punch. Excellent work. All right, walk those feet back in, draw those shoulders back, hands to the side, and when you're ready, really lift up, trying to keep the hips level as you get that nice strong punch, extending through that elbow. Nice, eyes up. Meant to be a playful punch here, unless maybe you have a little bit of aggression you want to get out here today. If you're a little frustrated, use that movement to move your energy. Super. And just like we talked about on those mountain climbers, as you lift the knee, try to engage the ankle, lift that foot and toes. 2, 1, and shake it out. Awesome job. All right, that concludes set 1. Let's grab a drink. Not set 1. That's our 3 sets. That's circuit number 1. We've got 2 more. All right, so 2 pieces of equipment that are going to be helpful for this next one. We're going to be doing the step ups. So a little bit of a step stool. If you have a staircase nearby, that's going to work as well. And then a long band. We're going to be doing a seated row on set 1. Option of a bent over row on sets 2 and 3. Or you can always come back to that seated row. So the long band is what we're looking for. Mine's a little bit twisted up from travel. We're going to be working one leg at a time on the step ups. We'll start here in 15 seconds. So I'm going to have my chair in front. So that can be like kind of my little bit of a support as needed. My step right behind. So stand up nice and tall. We're going to get as much of your foot as you can. Start with the leg if you have a side that's more challenging. We're going to use that side first. Hands up or holding on. When you're ready, drive into that leg. Come all the way up to standing, squeezing the back side, and you're going to keep that same foot on the box as you lower down, and then continue with that same leg. If you don't need to hold on, reach those arms out as you come up and step down. Pulling through, squeeze the glute. So that's just your tush. You want to use those big muscles to open the hips. And then if you know this movement, probably know what we're focused on. A couple of key areas, the knee. So sometimes that knee tends to drop in, but I keep good alignment there. And then another common thing that we see is that hip will kick out. So square it up and give a short break here. That's our 45 seconds. We're gonna do the same thing on that opposite leg. All righty, when you're ready, second leg. Here we go, 45 on this side. Place it down. You want to have that spot forward to look at as you're moving through here. Pulling up and forward. Building that endurance for climbing stairs, getting in and out of the car. or like a van. Sometimes you got to step up and in into a bigger bus. Just finishing up a 2-week RV trip with my mom and my sister. So we, had to kind of work. My mom climbed up to the ladder, getting on top of that RV. We were underneath this tree that was giving us all kinds of debris. So grateful for my mom. She's 65 years old, climbs that ladder, gets on up there. Proud of her. And everybody rest. All right, nice work. We're going to take a seat next to work with that band. We're going to work the muscles of the mid-back. You can also sit down on the floor if you don't have a chair around. As you come to seated, sit right up on your sit bones. So you can literally move the flesh of your glute up out of the way, put your low back in a good position. And then we're going to take the band around 1 foot. See how tall can you sit, drawing that chin in with the arms straight out in front. You can wrap that band around, palms down towards the floor. And then when you're ready, squeeze the elbows back, breathing in as you reach out. And then I like to give a little rotation through the hands. So to activate a bit more of that bicep, I'm going to draw the elbows back, rotate the palms up, and then I rotate them back down as I reach out. Breathing in, long reach, breathing out. Sometimes we'll start to lose and move through the head and neck here as well. I'd like you to hold the head and neck neutral and then keep the shoulders moving. Shoulders reach forward, drawing them back. Wonderful. Breathing in, breathing out, couple more. And 2, 1, and rest. Great job. You can keep that band nearby. We're going to do a little bit of mobility work for that mid-back before we jump back up. So scoot yourself to the edge of your chair. Have your feet flat on the ground. Our seated cat-cow is next. Stomach draws in, hands to the knees. Exhale as you roll forward, similar to that spinal cord breathing in the beginning. And then inhale, slide the hands up the thighs, squeeze the shoulders back, lift the head and neck. Good. Rounding forward, drawing those shoulders forward, breathing out, breathing in, sitting tall. Super. One more time. Breathing out, forward draw, head down, breathing in, sitting up. Awesome work. All right. That's set 1. We're going to do it one more time through, maybe twice, but maybe keep it a little bit shorter today based on what was mentioned about people's energy levels at the start of class and a little bit of a long week for some. Back to our step ups here in 10 seconds. If you're not quite ready, just join us when you are. Remember your more challenging side first. 2, 1, here we go. As much of your foot as you can. Drawing up and forward. Reach out. Squeeze the glutes. Knee nice and stable. Hips nice and stable. And really what happens at the ankle largely is going to impact up the body. So as we talked about that big toe when we were working our squats earlier, whoopsie. You okay, Diane? Watch out for those grandkids. Woo! Reaching out, stepping off, almost there. That little grandkid sneak behind her as she was coming down. Glad to see you're okay. And take a short pause. Good job. We're going to do the same thing on that opposite leg. Woo-hoo! Good. Grateful for some good agility. Standing tall in 2, 1, other side. Nice level hips. Step it up, pulling through, reaching out, stepping down. Make sure your space is clear behind you. I know my puppy dog likes to sneak behind us sometimes when we're doing step ups on the box. Good job. Eyes up and forward. Make sure you keep an eye on the alignment of your knee as you step off your step also. Sometimes we'll be strong on the up, and then sometimes we'll lose that position on the down. That knee will tend to dive in, or those hips will tend to kick out. All right, feeling a little bit of burn here myself today. Maybe 1 or 2 more, pulling through, stepping off, and 2, 1, and take a rest. All right, so you can go back to seated if you'd like. I'm going to show you an alternative option for more of a bent over row with the band. But if your low back is a little catchy today, or if you have any history of your low back challenging you, then maybe the seated row will be best. You do want to work a little bit more of that hinge position. You're going to lengthen out the band and just stand on it. So I'm just standing right on the middle of my band. I draw my stomach in so I'm not arching my lower back. So rock those hips under you. With a soft bend of my knees, I'm going to send my hips back. And then when you're ready, so seated or in this bent over position, reaching forward, drawing back. And I can still get that little rotation here. Rotating those palms forward or up towards the sky. And you can feel how this bent over position challenges that low back a little bit more. So I'm trying to still engage the glutes, pull the belly in, and then neutral head, chin in, looking forward. If you're here with this bent over position, if you need a break before we're done, just stand it up for a second, and then you can bow forward again, coming back into it. Breathing in on the forward reach, breathing out. Working that mid-back posture, helping against those forward shoulders. Last couple. And rest. Woo! All right, those of you that were wearing the bands today, go ahead and release the air. If you are here standing with me, we're going to do some stretches from the chair. So when you're ready, go ahead and join me seated. The last part of class, after we do this little intermediate stretching portion, is going to be down on the floor. We're going to be working our low back, our midline, and get some good activation from the hips on the ground. So if you need to bring over any extra mats or blankets, otherwise, come right to the edge of that chair, sitting up nice and tall, and we're going to do our seated forward fold first. So hands on the knees, belly drawn in, and this time I'm going to slide the hands down my shin as I bow my head down. Far enough that you get a gentle stretch of that low back, and then use your breath. Try to breathe right into that area where that stretch, where you feel that stretch. On that next inhale, come on back to seated. Sitting up nice and tall, and we're going to stretch our glutes next. So as you sit tall, go ahead and pick the one leg up, interlace the hands, and now re-engage that mid-back. Shoulders down, elbows draw back, and we're going to cross this foot over. Reposition the hand on the outer aspect of the knee, and now you're going to think about trying to pull that knee towards the opposite side of the body. The whole goal here is to get a nice gentle stretch in that outer hip. And if you want just ever so slightly, you can turn the head looking over the shoulder. See if you can breathe in through the nose, sitting as tall as you can, and out through the mouth. Good. From there, looking forward again, see if you can grab the ankle of that foot, and we're going to lower this knee down, moving into a gentle figure 4. This can get intense quick, so just be gracious, be gentle, tender with your stretching. Feel free if you'd like to close your eyes, take about 3 more breaths, and then we'll switch sides. Lengthen on the inhale, soften on the exhale. Fantastic. Gradually make your way out of that position, setting that foot down. And then we'll make our way to the other side. Glute stretch first. Sit tall, interlace those hands, draw those shoulders back. And then we're looking to cross that foot over, reposition those hands. Shoulders draw back once again. Remember, trying to pull the knee across the body. You can ever so gently with that nice long neck, turn the head, looking over the shoulder on the same side that you're stretching that leg. In through the nose, out through the mouth, about 3 more times. Good. When you're ready, coming back to center, looking to grab the ankle, transition into your version of the figure 4. You feel like you need to kind of like grimace or it's painful, come a little bit out of it, a little bit less of a stretch. Otherwise, you can just rest this hand on the knee, shoulders back and down. We'll spend about another 20 seconds here. Great time to relax those eyes, give them a break from looking at screens and just feel the breath. And kind of think about your breath as like the ocean waves, nice and relaxed. They have its own little rhythm there. Good. When you're ready, start to unwind your body, coming back into that flat foot position. Reposition yourself to sit up nice and tall. Hand to one side of the body, hanging on to your chair. And then we're going to slide on down like you're trying to reach to that opposite ankle as you bow that head down. Looking to get a little bit of a stretch on the side of the body. Send that air into where you feel that stiffness. On that next inhale, come on back to seated. Same thing on that opposite side. Shoulders back, hold on to the chair, reaching to the opposite knee, belly drawn in as you gently slide down, tuck that head down. Three to 5 times, in through the nose, out through the mouth. On that next inhale, when you're ready, back up to seated. All right, one more time or one more stretch before we make our way down to the floor. We're going to stretch that upper body with those shoulders. So we're going to take one hand, chin in. We're going to raise that hand up towards the ceiling. And then you want to look to bend that elbow like you're trying to reach a scratch on the back. Good. Draw that chin in as you reach around to grab that elbow and draw it back. And you got to really fight that posture here. So how tall can you sit? Keeping the eyes up. Feet flat on the ground. Good. Go ahead and release the arms. Same thing other side. Shake them out for a moment. Wiggle the body. Good. Gentle smile, and then same thing other side. Raise that arm high, chin in, ribs down, because sometimes we'll go into that sway back posture. Reach for that, scratch the back. Readjust the head and neck as you reach around and pulling that elbow back. Good. Keep those eyes up, looking forward. Try to breathe and smile through those challenging stretches. And gently release. Fantastic. All right, from here, if your water glass is nearby, let's grab a drink. And I'm going to readjust the camera. We're going to make our way down to the floor for the last portion. So sometimes we avoid getting down on the ground, but it's always good practice, whether you're younger or a little bit more wise and aged in your years. We don't want to lose that ability to get on and off the ground. So when you're ready, if you can use the chair as support to hold on, gradually coming on down. And then as you make your way down, we're going to come onto our backs. So lower on down. Coming on to your back. And as you start to lie on your back, have your knees bent. And then we tend to kind of be rounded through that upper body. So I want you to roll your body to one side, draw that shoulder back and down, and then you'll lay yourself down on that side. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Roll myself up, rotate that shoulder back and down, and then come back into center. From here, I can kind of check in with my lower hips. I can kind of lift my hips up a little bit, square them to my shoulders. And our first mobility piece we're going to do here today is our windshield wipers. So if you're on a yoga mat, walk your feet about hip width apart, maybe the outer aspects of your mat. If you're not on a mat, just kind of feel yourself where you are. And then nice and gentle. You're going to think about your knees like windshield wipers, lowering both legs to one side of the body. Come up to center, feet flat on the ground. And then you can let the soles of the feet come off a little bit as you bring your knees to the opposite side. And just nice and gentle here. Getting a little bit of some internal rotation and some external rotation. See if you can breathe in through the nose and out through the nose on this one. Center the head when you can, looking straight up towards your ceiling. You can even relax the eyes. Let's get about 1 or 2 more times each direction. Very good. Balance it out on both sides. And then when you finish both sides, we're going to reposition the feet. Walk them in just slightly. Reposition those hips as able. The next thing we're going to work on are our bridges. So you can either keep the hands to the side. You can also rest the hands right on the front of the hips. And then when you're ready, you're going to draw the belly in. Roll that low back into the floor. Push into your feet and start to raise your hips up, keeping your knees pushing out. Nothing to prove, just a nice little bridge, and then you'll lower them back down. Good. Breathing out as you lower them down, and then breathing in as you start to raise those hips back up. And now these are the exercises that we can really give a little bit extra focus to the smaller muscles in our midsection. So think about the pelvic floor, trying to clench those muscles without holding your breath. And take anywhere between another 30 to 45 seconds, resting on the floor anytime you need. Otherwise, continue to raise up and lower down. It's also a great stretch for the back of the neck. So as you start to raise the hips up, draw that chin in towards your chest. Good. Maybe one more time here. See if you can find that big toe, pushing that big toe down as you rise up. And then when you rest down, go ahead and hug both legs into the chest. Rock yourself side to side. We call this our double knee to chest. All right. Our next exercise is going to be we call it our abdominal draw. So I'm going to go back into that position that we used for the glute bridge. I'm actually going to move my chair out of the way because I want to have enough space that I can slide my foot forward and back. All right. So first things first, think about having a little whoopee cushion or a little balloon underneath your low back. And the first thing we're focused on is drawing that belly in, pushing that lower back into the floor, and then holding that lower back into the floor. If you can hold that position, you can now start to take one heel and slide it out. Don't let those hips roll away, and then slide it back in. Good. Slide it out, holding nice and neutral through that belly, and sliding it back in. Good. Anywhere between 3 and 5 times, and then we'll switch legs. You need a break. If that midsection gets tired, rest for a second, lift those hips up and forward, and then we'll rock it back. I'm going to do 2 more heel slides, and then I'm going to switch legs. Out and in. All right, when you're ready, same thing, opposite leg. So engage to the middle, pushing the low back flat. If that's hard, then just focus there. If you're starting to get the idea of how to engage those muscles of your lower core, then look to add that heel slide. This is really good activation work for that lower core to try to sync it up with the leg moving. Feel your body breathe, feel your midline brace, working to hold that spine nice and neutral. Maybe 1 or 2 more. When you're ready, go ahead and rest. And we're going to return that double knee to chest. Hugging the legs back in and rock side to side. Good job. Loosen up that low back. We're going to return to our glute bridge next, and we're going to go one more time with each exercise. So glute bridge and then our abdominal draw with our low back stretch in between. So when you're ready, place the feet down, hands at the sides or on the front of the hips, and then we're going to raise the hips up. Use that abdominal draw still, pulling that belly in, push into your feet as you lift the hips up. See if you can try to lengthen through that low back as you raise the hips up, and then resting down. Once you know the movement, you can close the eyes and focus in on the body. Pelvic floor muscles. Imagine you are in that car ride and you got to wait to get to the restroom. And always the back of the body, squeezing the glutes, drawing the chin into the chest. Avoid any pinching sensation. Whew, good. This little series that we're ending in is excellent just to do by itself. Those of you that have your blood flow bands, you can put those bands on while you work these exercises. You'll get a little extra burn into those thighs. Really key exercises to do to prevent and eliminate low back pain, because we can help activate the back of the body, help open up the front of the hips. Woo. So maybe 1 or 2 more reps. And take a rest. Good job. I'm going to return to that double kneaded chest, and then we'll finish with another round of our abdominal draw with our heel slides. Great session today, everybody. All right, last little bit of focus, starting with the feet flat on the ground, hands to the side. You can almost rock the hips forward to start. So I roll my hips forward, feel the back lift up off the floor, and then I'm going to push that lower spine to the ground as I rock the hips back. Hold in that position with that lower back into the floor. I can choose to gently slide the heel down, extending the knee slow, and then slide the heel back. Anywhere between 3 to 5 times, and then we'll switch sides. Similar muscle groups that we focused on that glute bridge, especially that pelvic floor. Try to clench those small little muscles. Oftentimes when we try to engage those muscles, there's a tendency to hold the breath. So continue to breathe as you move. Before I switch legs, I'm going to give my body a little bit of a break. Let the low back come off the ground. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into that other side, rocking those hips back, pushing that lower spine to the floor. When I was a little kid, I had a whoopee cushion I tried to play some pranks with. So I like to imagine trying to put a whoopee cushion under that low back and trying to push the air out of that cushion with your spine, flattening into the ground as you breathe. Hopefully that can bring a little bit of cheer. Imagine those little sounds that those whoopee cushions make. Keep breathing. Rest anytime you need. You know, one more time. Out, in, and rest. Good job. Fantastic. All right. Finishing piece here today. I'm going to roll you onto your side. We're going to look to stretch out those quads. So stack that elbow right underneath the shoulder. Bye, Diane. Have a great day. Bend that top knee, grabbing that foot, pulling it back. Draw that shoulder back. If it's tough for you to grab that foot, you can use a towel here. We do this standing sometimes, but it's really challenges the balance and the flexibility when we're standing. So those of you that can't quite do it standing, just remember this version, because this is a really great stretch. Keeping those muscles of your thigh nice and long. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and release that side. And then we're going to roll over, or I'm going to spin around so I don't turn my backside to you. As you come into support, pull that elbow in just underneath the shoulder. And then we're going to bend that top leg, grabbing that foot once again, pulling the heel towards the glutes as you invite that thigh back. Good. And then watch the shoulder, draw the shoulder back and down. And then also we don't want to just sink in this bottom shoulder. So a little bit of engagement here. And breathe. You can close your eyes. Good, about 10 more seconds. And when you're ready, go ahead and release that foot. Final position, if you're able, you're going to make your way onto all fours, and we're going to finish in a child stretch. So coming up to hands and knees. From here, bring your big toes together, and then walk your knees about shoulder width, or maybe just slightly outside the shoulders. Reach your hands straight out in front, and then nice and gradual, lower your hips back towards your heels and bow the head down between the arms. And then as always, return that focus towards the breath into the lower back and mid back, lifting up slightly. And then as you breathe out, bow the head down. All right, let's go about 2 more breaths here. On that next inhale, working yourself back up. If you're able to come into a seated position, sit on down. Extend those legs out in front of your body, or if you can cross the legs, whatever is best for you. And then we'll finish with our final breaths. So sitting up nice and tall, hands in front of the chest, breathing in, raise those arms up to overhead. And breathing out, spread the hands nice and wide, open through the palm. Good. Twice more. Breathe in, a little bit of peace for the world. Breathe out all the tension and worry in our lives. Wonderful. One more time. Soft smile, breathing in and breathing out. All right, friends. Give yourself a little round of applause. Thanks so much for being here, moving with me today. I will be back next week to move with you once again. In the meantime, keep your hydration going. It's a great time of year in the colder climates. I love to heat up some water, put a little bit of fresh lemon in or some herbal tea. And as always, please remember to find some moments of joy and to enjoy your life. We'll see you next time.